Yo, Klipsch guy here. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to part 3 of spending 2 weeks with a Klipsch system. So this will be the movie test on this portion of the series. The part 2 was the music demo. So if you haven't watched part 2 or part 1, make sure to go back and do that, then come back to this video here. So this video will be the movie demo and I will show you guys exactly what movies I used to test right after the intro. Now, I mentioned in part 2 that I was very curious on how these speakers would sound for movies. I thought that it would do well, and that came to be true. You guys are going to see towards the 3-minute mark of this video some movie tests that I did on these speakers to come to this assessment. These speakers are actually very good for movies, and I think they're stronger for movies than music, but we'll talk about that in part 4. Now, with this test, what I wanted to do was see how they handled overall ambience in music. How did they perform in a movie setting? Could they play loud? Did they have a good bass presence? What was their weaknesses? What was their strengths? So in this test, I turned off my subs, but I kept all other speakers as normal, and I kept the crossover at 40 hertz. So I was still getting some thunderous bass, but I didn't change the crossover from what I would normally have it. So I wanted to hear what it sounded like on its own, and it did phenomenally. It sounded very good and very lively, surprisingly, compared to the music test. Now, that center speaker being so small, that was where my focus was going to be. How well did that center speaker perform being so small and tiny? Well, it wasn't bad at all. Those 4 drivers and that tweeter did very well on reproducing every type of dialogue that I put towards it, whether that's a human voice or a monster or a car engine or whatever the case was. It came through clear, came through loud, and it was well balanced with the rest of the system. Now, if you're wondering what I'm using as my equipment, I'm using an Anthem AVM 70 preprocessor that delivers 15.2 channels of processing. As my amplifiers of choice, my Monoprice Monolith 7 is pumping 200 watts to all my bass speakers, my 7 speakers on the floor. And then my Neuro XAS 5180 from OSD Audio is powering my Atmos channels. And then I have all that plugged up to an APC power conditioner / battery backup. So that's what I'm using as my equipment. So enjoy the demo and I will talk to you guys at the end of the video.
Where are you?
Here they come again, worming their way into the black matter of my brain.
You promised to help us.
I tell myself, they cannot touch me. They are long dead. I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead, hunted by scavengers, haunted by those I could not protect. So I exist in this wasteland. A man reduced to a single instinct: survive.
Wait! Not yet!
I'll get a better shot.
While I'll hold my overall thoughts for part 4, I will say that these speakers sound great for movies, and I think this should be the only sole reason why you buy these speakers. This particular line of speakers is for movies. While I'll save the overall thoughts on these speakers for part 4, I will say that these speakers are great for movies, and I think that should be the sole reason why you buy this particular line of speakers, is for movies. Again, I crossed these speakers at 40 Hz and turned off the subs because I wanted to hear what these were capable of doing on their own. And they kept me immersed in the demos. They kept me right there in the center of the action, and I didn't feel like I was missing too much. These speakers are highly efficient, so I don't have to turn the volume knob quite as loud as I do say on my Canton Ventos because of the highly efficient drivers and configuration and crossovers that Klipsch uses. So with that being said, you don't need to pump a lot of power to these, but if you want to, they will be more than happy to take that. Movies is where the Klipsch R820Fs really shine, and it's because of those drivers, their ability to dig really deep. I can get an in-room response around 30 Hz or so, and that really tailors to that low-end bass in movies. Now, while they do dig really deep, I still recommend pairing them with a sub, just to reinforce that extra low end and take some of that stress off of those drivers. But pair them with a quality sub and you have yourself a really nice home theater system. I'm really happy with this. The center channel didn't lag like I thought it would. I thought it would be its weak point, but it's actually really strong. Now, there is a bigger center channel out there, but this was more than enough for my room. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't seen part 1 or part 2 of this series, make sure you go back and check those 2 parts out. Part 1 was the overview, and part 2 was the music demo. Of course, part 3 was the sound demo, and part 4 will be my total thoughts on this speaker. So guys, if you're curious about what I think about these speakers as a whole, make sure that you subscribe, leave a comment, hit that like button, and we'll find out just what it was like to spend 2 weeks with a Klipsch system.